Hey, hello, folks. Welcome back to Life for Living Well. My name is Richard, and I'm excited to present another topic this week from 6 weeks challenge that we set last week, which we started last week as the courage as a virtue. And thank you for the feedback for the people that have actually listened to the podcast last week. And this week, moving to the second part of the virtues listed in the book of Authentic Happiness by Martin Seligman. For this week, I'm looking into wisdom and knowledge as a virtue. And I hope that you'll be able to take one or two things from it. If you can use it to make your own life improve your own life, make your life much better, have a better experiences and how you manage it, then the purpose of the podcast is being fulfilled. Thank you for your time, and let's get started. So what I have for you briefly is to examine the wisdom and knowledge as a virtues. The good things about this particular virtue is that no one has born as wise, but they experience, they go through life and how they acquire that knowledge through their experiences that they have opportunity to face, and then how they tap into that knowledge they gather from that experiences make them a wise person, and how they apply that to practical wisdom and in a way that benefit them and benefit the society at large. We all know great men and great women in our generations, and especially this current generation and the past generations, that they have demonstrated because of their knowledge and wisdom, they managed to navigate through the tough manage to navigate through the difficult times. May you also be able to do the same in your own personal encounter and personal life. So let's get started without taking too much time. This week, looking into the wisdom and understanding as a virtue. The good news is nobody was born with it. It is virtue that develop like athletes. So if you look a lot of professional athletics or professional sportsmen and women, one thing they constantly do is they constantly working with their talent, and this most of the time is either you have it or you don't have it. Even people that don't have it, they tend to be even more successful in that field compared with people that have it but they don't work hard to keep it or work on it. So what I'm trying to say here is that as a professional athlete, you develop a routine where you constantly working on particular area of your strength, and then you try to take a maximum out of your strength by constantly practicing and working on it to develop it into a place where it actually serves you your main purpose. So the same thing with wisdom. So looking into the Authentic Happiness book, he identified the area of strength that shows what the people that develop these virtues already have or do that make them use these virtues in their own life. So I'm hoping that with this podcast, I may be able to share that and reveal that to you as you follow me. It is virtue that develop like athletes develop their skills by working day out and day in with their talents. Aristotle once said that what you do daily is not just an habit, it's an excellent. If you're excellent in what you do, and that's who you are. So if you want to develop wisdom and understanding, we're able to show you what you might need to do, and then perhaps it might be able to help you to develop this virtue in yourself. But when it comes to wisdom, there's many myths around it. So our society believes sometimes that when somebody have a white gray in their head, it automatically means that they are wise. That is not true. Look around you, you will see a lot of evidence of people in their 50s, 60s that they haven't get hold of their life yet. And that is okay. It's not mean they are bad people. It just means that wisdom is not their priority in this lifetime. And that's different. And then you can meet someone in their 20s, in their 30s, that they demonstrate degree of wisdom beyond their age. And this is the difference. Age could be an advantage because the older you are, is naturally to accept that you have more experiences than somebody in his 20s of life. But what I've noticed and observed and read is not everybody turn their experiences into opportunity to grow. Because how could you acquire understanding without really know your own pattern, your own behavior, your own actions in the situation or event that happened to you? Except you blame somebody else for it. It takes a lot of kind of mindset and character to be able to go through life and experiences and try and learn some lesson from that experience and become an understanding how you find yourself in that situation and what can you do that you won't put yourself in that situation again. But the history shows that as a human being, we tend to learn more in a negative or in a unpleasant experience. We tend to repeat the same thing again and again and again. But when it comes to wisdom, there is many myths around it. Accepting that individual with a gray hair will automatically equivalent to wisdom. This is a big myth. Just look around you. It is true that the older you are, the most likely you will have experiences of life, and like I said, not everyone that have all these experiences of opportunity that they actually turn this thing into knowledge. Not everyone. Some people chose to avoid the experiences, or they blame someone for the unpleasant experiences that they had. A young person may have much wisdom when it comes to financial wisdom, relationship wisdom, emotional wisdom, even life, if such a person has transcended their experiences into knowledge. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no way you will develop a wisdom as a virtue without firstly acquire knowledge, and that knowledge is come by experiences. You can't acquire it only by reading the book, only by watching the films. You might learn a bit about great men and women that have wrote about their own journey of life, and that might be able to help you that you don't need it to take years to get to that level. You might be able to minimize the amount of time, that years that you have to spend to acquire the same understanding they have arrived. But that will not mean that it will limiting your own personal experience, because you will still have your own disappointment, you will still have your own joy, but it's how you treat all this opportunity into a knowledge, and how you able to tap into this knowledge and make it become a virtue as a wisdom for you. So, and often combine their intuition, critical thinking from current event, and lesson learned from similar event. So when you see someone demonstrate a wisdom, how they deal with the event, or how they deal with the situation, or how they live their life, thing that you have to look is not what they do, what motivate what they do is more important. So because of the knowledge they've acquired, so they also very in touch with their intuition, and they bring it back to their critical thinking and able to make a decision that make life much bearable for them, easier, so they have a minimum suffering. And truly, what every human being wants is to minimize or remove suffering in our life. But our actions, behavior, tend to create more suffering for us, short time and long time. They make better choices, they navigate life much better, and experience life even much better. So once you develop a virtue of wisdom in your own life, you begin to see differences how your life play out, and you tend to have to make a choices and decisions, and some of those decisions might not be popular. It might not go with the crowd, it might not go with your friends who would like you to make, but at the end, your insight of an event, with time, you always come out correct. A sage once said in the book of Prov, chapter 16, verse 16, said, wisdom much better to get a wisdom than gold, to get understanding than silver. So what the author of the book was trying to say is that if you're going to go for two items in life, like our society designed us to go for gold, to go for silver only. Gold and silver is good, but they won't take us far. They won't allow us to navigate the life much better. So whereas when we seek to develop our own virtues and understanding as wisdom in our life, we tend to attract gold, we tend to attract silver. But silver and gold are not the thing that we chase in exchange for wisdom and understanding. But today, almost everybody claims they wise, but keep repeat the same event in their life. As a society, we rate book smart higher, even sometimes not able to separate smartness from being wise. The good news, you can start working and developing these amiable virtues in your own life. As a result, you may experience life much better. Martin Seligman cited in his book Authentic Happiness the strength that leads to developing wisdom and understanding as a virtue. So he listed key strengths that you can develop if you don't have it. So I suggest just take one of these things and work on it by yourself. And the moment you work on that one and become a natural part of you, you're able to open the door to work on the remaining strengths. So one of them is such people, they demonstrate curiosity and interest in the world around them. They also love to learn. So not just what you learn in school. Most people, their education stop the day they collect their degree or diploma or certificate, or they just finish some apprentice work, and that's when they stop learning. Most organizations will like the employee that have a self-motivated to learn than to have someone that have a big degree but stop learning. Ability to make judgment with critical thinking. So when you're able to think for yourself, you're able to find yourself. Aristotle once said that people ask him, how do you find yourself? He said, think for yourself. And when you're able to think for yourself, you're no longer living your life like a sheep or cow that you just follow the herds. You're able to tap into your own natural intuition and using your critical thinking to look into what you are doing. So another strength that Martin mentioned is open-mindedness, originality. And there's no way you will be original person without being truthful person. You have to be honest with how you feel, not worry about what people need to hear alone. So he also mentioned become a street smart. So you really fully understood what's going around you. And this is a lot of work, and it's also the basic work that everyone should strive to start with themselves, is know yourself. There's this Chinese war philosophy said, to win any battle, know yourself. So you can conquer the whole nation. If you haven't conquered yourself, you haven't won any war. The first victory for you is to overcome your own nature, which is difficult. So in actual sense, you have to embrace your nature, know what kind of person you are as a person. If you can, you won't truly know yourself completely, but know your nature to the point that, let's say, you are kind of person that get angry easily. You have to know what triggers you. You also have to work on how you can control your emotions, because when your emotions control you, you become a terrible servant. But when you are in control of your emotions, you are a great master. So in actual sense, you drive the car, you didn't let the car drive you. Because if the car drive you, there's no way we will obey the traffic lights. And that kind of car is a self-destructive. And lastly, he talked about practical intelligence. Most people, they can't separate intellect from intelligence. Women intellect are very high. That's the only difference between us and animals. Our intellect, we find alternative option, but it doesn't get to the bottom of the problem. It just takes us away. So actually, this is very common in the software world. Every time there's a business problem, you think about automatic solution. You don't really think about that the system is not just a artificial intelligence, it's also a system that affected people's life. So you don't even separate the interaction of the other people's life with the system. So you don't see the problem as systemic, you see it as systematic. This is what the intellect does best. You hungry, you get the food. You tired, you sleep. But when you become to use your practical intelligence, it goes down to the root of your problem, and it allows you to use your creativity to get out of it. So a creative person is a person that's seeking freedom. A rebellious person is a person that seeks freedom, but one of those energy have less destructive approach. Most people are stuck to rebellious side of creativity, but creativity is not a destructive energy. It's the energy that allows you go deeper into the source of a problem and work from the bottom up to the top to solve a problem. But your intellect will not always solve your problem. It will create a option, a solution, short-term solution for you. So there is a problem, this is what you have to do. But it hasn't solved the problem. It just creates a way out from that current problem, but that problem is still there. A wise person oftentimes to employ their practical intelligence. You want a relationship? What kind of relationship you want? You want a relationship, or you want relationship because of the social pressure or image that you want to project? And then you got a relationship that cost off your life few years from you. So firstly, you know yourself and you know the person you're going to share your life with. So you're going there not because you want to take something, but you want to share something. But most people go into their relationship to take. And when you are taking and the other person taking, it make you end up in a toxic and draining relationship. So the practical intelligence is something that you can apply to your life, to your relationship, to your work, to your business, to your growth. Even if you don't have all these strengths, take one you can work with and develop it in a functional level. You may become or reach a moment one day if you seriously take this approach serious. If wisdom is virtue you cherish. Again, not everyone wants wisdom, but everybody like it. But if you want to have a pleasant and less drama life and less pain, I seriously suggest you should consider develop this as a virtue in yourself if you don't have it yet. And it's not a end goal. It's not something that you say, yes, I am wise, because the wise person don't say they're wise. They are wise to know that they are not. Again, Aristotle put it much better. He said, I know I'm wise because I know nothing. The moment you say you are wise or you know this, then you are not. Because your actions and your behavior is what we tell whether you are wise or you are not. So if you want to have more pleasant life, pleasant experiences, you want to navigate life much better, you want to make less drama in your life, I seriously suggest you should consider to develop a wisdom as a virtue. Our world needs more wise leaders, need more commander, need more captain of businesses, even romantic partners, and world generally, we need more wise people. This world suffer when a lot of people go around hurting themselves and hurting other people. Okay, so we're going to bring this particular episode for this week to end, and next week we will look into another virtue. So that will take us to the series 3 of this current episode 3 with this current series. So if you have any question for me, you can always send me your request to my email. Just write to info@lifeforlivingwell.info. Again, you can write to info@lifeforlivingwell.info. My name again is Richard. And if you would like to know more about what Life for Living Well does, you can check more out on our website. We have regular articles. We have articles from the guests as well. And we have diary, we have articles, we have books. We have articles that actually real life stories on the platform. So any other question, please feel free to ask. And whatever you do this week, please stay safe. And thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to me. Have an amazing week. Thank you.